Did you know that this sort of market in Simcoe County is actually a better market financially for you to upsize than it would be if you had done it when the market was peaking, when people were supposedly perfectly timing the market? I'm not kidding with you, okay? So just to really illustrate this, please watch this video. It's only gonna take a few minutes. I hope that it helps clarify to you that when markets like this come along, it actually might be more financially advantageous for you than it would be otherwise. I hope you find this video helpful. Let's go back 7 years ago, okay? Let's say November 2018, the average detached home, or actually the average real estate property in Simcoe County, let's say you bought one for $450,000 at that time, okay? And let's suppose you put $125K as equity into it, okay? And that means you were carrying a $325K mortgage. Next. Let's suppose instead of today, right at the peak, okay? February of 2022. Okay, we're gonna cut to February 2022. You took that exact same property and sold it in the perfect month. Okay, what would happen there? You would sell for about $950,000. Yes, that modest home, well, average property, I should say, that you bought in November 2018 sold in that month on average for $950,000. You won the lottery, right? Okay, where are you gonna live? You're still moving. Let's suppose you're still in Simcoe County. Okay, well, in that case, first of all, what are you taking? You get you've got about a $300,000 mortgage, let's say. Still, I'm gonna be modest on my estimates here, let's pay down. So, you only pay 25K down off of that in this scenario. And this also means that you got, after your fees and everything come out of the deal, you're moving on to about 600K in equity. Okay, again, you feel like you won the lottery because you sold on a high. That's great. Where are you moving? Well, most people, let's suppose they're upsizing, okay? You're going to upsize. What are we upsizing to? Well, let's suppose you're going for an average in, let's go Barrie, an average 2,100 square foot above grade detached home with 4 bedrooms upstairs and a 2-car garage. At that time, you would have been looking at probably to be in a half decent neighborhood at about $1,150,000. Remembering that you're bringing forward your $600K in equity, which then means that you have about a $550,000 mortgage. Okay. So that's the scenario if you made the move in February 2022 when you were supposedly winning the market. And this is what you ended up with. Okay, scenario 2. Let's suppose you sold today this same place that you bought for $450,000, the average piece of real estate in 2018. Well, the average piece of real estate would be today worth approximately $700,000. Oh man. I could have sold for $950. Well, the market's just not in a good place. I really shouldn't do this. Wait, let's go through the rest of the numbers. All right, so the $700,000, well, let's also account for that we've got about $280,000 in mortgage left, okay? Remember, this has been another few years, so really, I mean, to expect it's only at 280, it's probably lower than that. Unless you've refinanced and re-upped it, whole other conversation to have, okay? Being really modest on this number. So in that scenario, there's the $280K mortgage. Let's say by the time you pay off the mortgage, real estate and lawyer fees, let's say you're moving ahead with about $380K in equity. Right? We're gonna say about $40,000 in fees and whatnot in this scenario. So you're moving forward with $380K in equity. right? So they're in their little detached 3-bedroom home, maybe 1,700 square feet with a single car garage on like a tight little 30-foot frontage. And they want to move into a 4-bed, 2,100 square foot home with a 2-car garage, okay? So they're going to upsize. Okay, and in this scenario, let's suppose again, we're talking in Barrie, this detached home with the 2-car garage in a decent neighborhood. Now you can get for $825,000. And if you don't believe me, reach out, I'll send you a whole bunch of listings that you can get for this. Okay, we're gonna bring this 380K equity forward, which means got a 445K mortgage. For the same home that we spoke about in scenario 1. You sold for much less, but even in the upsize scenario, you end up with a smaller mortgage. So who won? I just want to recap this example just to really hammer this point home, okay? Again, this is based on a person who bought a home in 2018. The concept works no matter when you've bought the home, okay? But the point is, in this example, the person bought the home 7 years ago, okay, in 2018. Let's say they happen to time the market perfectly as far as selling goes. And this is my point, it's not just about selling, okay? But as a seller, they get all excited. They sold that place for $950,000, okay? And we're comparing to somebody that missed the boat, supposedly, and sold today that same home for $700,000. Both of those people upsized in their market that they were in, okay, to the same house. This person that supposedly was winning because they sold it in the perfect market had to pay more for their house. And they ended up with a $550,000 mortgage by the time they took that equity that they made and applied it. The same person in the same house, just selling at a different time, sold for less, bought that same house. Okay, they took forward less equity, but guess what? They still ended up with less of a mortgage. This is based on real percentages going on in the market today. I hope that this helps enlighten you to think about the fact that it's not just about what you can sell for. You still have to buy something, assuming you're planning to still own real estate within the same market. So there you have it. If you're buying and selling within the same market, in the same area, I bet you didn't think about this before, that it actually could be to your financial advantage when the market is what somebody would call a little bit weaker. If you want to have a conversation about how this might apply to your own personal situation, shoot me a direct message or send me a text or call. Let's make an appointment to chat. Thanks so much for watching. Hope you're all doing well. Take care and let's talk soon.